But we did it, guys.
I'm repeating what we did just orally. We're not gonna write them again. Okay, we did them. Okay,
Miss, will we use the geometry set today?
maybe if we have time, maybe we're gonna start.
Miss, I buy geometry set.
Great. Okay, can I start? Yeah. So they said
Yeah.
for us in this exercise, they gave us as given information that D1 and D are parallel, D and D2 are parallel. What is the relative position of XY with respect to UV? I'm just going to repeat it orally. They said for us, what can we say about XY and UV? We said already that we can say that they are parallel since we have a third line which is perpendicular to the first and the second. I mean, they are all, both of them perpendicular to the same third line D. So since XY is perpendicular to D and VU is perpendicular to D, how did we know that they are perpendicular? Because from the figure, they draw for us a 90-degree symbol. That means that they gave us an information as a given from the figure that they are two perpendicular lines on the same third line D. And we know from the property that we took it already that when two lines are perpendicular to the same third line, it means that they are parallel. And this is what we said in this exercise. So we said that XY and UV are parallel because they are two perpendicular lines to the same line. How did we know they are perpendicular? Because it's given from the figure. So all the time when we want to give an information to prove something in the exercise, you have to say why and from where did you get the information. Is it given? Is it given from the figure? Is it already proved? Maybe we prove it in the exercise up, okay? Down, they said justify then that D2 and is perpendicular to XY, okay? They said that we have to justify its perpendicular. What did we do? We justify first that it's perpendicular to UV, and then we justify that it's perpendicular to XY. How did we justify that D2 is perpendicular to UV? We said that since what did we say? Who can remind me? I don't want to say everything. Who can remind me? Raise your hand. Zahra?
Yes, Miss. Yes, when we have D1 and we have D and D2, when we have D1 parallel to D, it
Yes.
can also be parallel to a third line. And when we have two lines and we have a third line that are parallel to them, we have them. The third line is gonna be parallel.
Yes, but this one, what you are saying is perfectly fine and correct, but this is the main point here. But it's not about this exercise, okay? It's not about this.
Yes.
They need me to justify why D2 is perpendicular to XY. So who can remind me? Ali Tawus, can you remind me why it is perpendicular? What did we say yesterday? I mean, Wednesday.
Okay, we said that since that D2 is parallel to D
Yes.
as a given,
Yes.
and UV is perpendicular to D.
Yes.
And given from the figure.
True.
And then UV is perpendicular to D2.
So we proved that UV is perpendicular to D2 since D and D2 were parallel, given, and UV it's perpendicular to D given. So UV is also perpendicular to D2. So نحن هيك we proved that D2 is actually perpendicular to UV. Excellent. And then what we said?
And then we said that because if two lines are parallel, then every line perpendicular to it is also perpendicular to the other one.
Bravo. So that's why we proved that يعني D2. So D2 is perpendicular to UV, already proved. And it is perpendicular to which one now?
To XY, because it's perpendicular to D.
Bravo. So we said that D2 is perpendicular to UV and it's also perpendicular to XY. Since XY and UV are parallel, we prove it up. And D2, we prove it that it's perpendicular to UV, so it is perpendicular to XY. This is what we did in the second one. We still have the third one, and this is what what she said, Zahra. Deduce that D1 and D2 are parallel. How can I say that D1 and D2 parallel? But we didn't use this main point. We have to use the perpendicular thing, the property. Selena, can you say for me, how can I say that D1 and D2 are actually parallel?
Okay, D1 and D2 are parallel. I think so that it's because if two lines are parallel, then every line perpendicular to one is also perpendicular to the other.
You have to say, no, because they are perpendicular to the same line, then they are parallel. You have to prove that they are parallel. We don't know that they are parallel. You have to tell me why they are parallel, since they are perpendicular to the same
Because
line.
yes,
D2 is
because they are
perpendicular to which
perpendicular
line? D2 is
D2.
yes, it's perpendicular to which
Yes,
line?
D2 is perpendicular to UV.
UV, okay. And D1 is perpendicular. No, we have to search for the line that both of them are perpendicular on. يعني D2 and D1 are
Okay.
perpendicular to the same line. Which one?
Miss, إيه أنت عم تدرسي حبيبتي؟
شو يا سيلينا؟
D.
D2 UXY. As you can
Yes.
see, D1 is perpendicular to XY, it's given. And D2 is
Yes.
perpendicular to XY, we prove it already in the second one. So D1 and D2 are perpendicular to the same third line, which is what?
D.
Which D? No.
Mind.
D1 and D2 are perpendicular to the
Yes.
same third line, which is
XY.
XY. Since they are perpendicular to the same third line, XY, then we can say that they are what?
Parallel.
Yes, so we're gonna write the following, everyone. Please write with me. We're gonna say, because we didn't do the third one, we're gonna say,
Miss on the copybook.
هلا continue here on the book. If you wrote already the first and the second on the book, later on we're gonna start writing on the copybook. So here, since D1 perpendicular, since D1 perpendicular
Miss, to write it on the copybook.
on the book,
This
on the
is
book,
the
everyone. If you don't have a space, write it down on the white. So D1, since D1 is perpendicular to XY, how did we know that? We're gonna
Miss, this
say,
is exercise 2.
Perla, what?
This is exercise.
This is the third part of the exercise thing and answer. The third part. Deduce that D1 parallel to D2. This is what we are doing now. So since D1 perpendicular to XY had it given from the figure, and
Sorry, Miss, the internet went out.
okay, Sana, yalla, continue with us. We're doing the third part. So since D1 perpendicular to XY given from the figure and D2 perpendicular D2 perpendicular to XY, as you can see, from where did I know this information? For the second part. We just verify it in the second part. So we're gonna say XY. How did we know that? Already proven or already verified in part 2. No need to say in part 2. خلاص, already verified. Okay. So so D1, let me continue down. So D1 is parallel to D2. هلا we're gonna mention the property because if two lines are perpendicular to the same line, then they are parallel. What? Yes, miss. Yeah.
Can I make to make up?
Miss, in which number are we in?
We are in the third part of the exercise, think and answer. We did already first and
Okay.
second part last time, now the third one. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat what we said. We said that D1 is actually perpendicular to XY. It's already given from the figure because they put for us 90 degree. This 90 degree, we consider it given. And then D2 is also perpendicular to XY. We already verified that in the part 2. So since these two lines are perpendicular to the same third line XY, then we can consider like they are parallel. From this exercise, we can conclude the main point that Zahra was talking about. And now we're going to talk about it. So if two lines are parallel to a third line, then they are parallel together. يعني, as you can see here, D1 is parallel to D, and D2 is
Yes.
actually parallel to D. They gave us as information up. So that's why we can just say that D1 and D2 are parallel also. Yes, Hassan Haidar.
The first one and the second, I don't make them
We
because
made them last time. You can check them from the Zoom record on Classroom.
yes, because I get out from the village.
It's fine. Hassan, just check the records from last time and copy them, okay? And from now,
Okay.
continue with us.
Okay.
Okay. So, since we know this rule, okay, we could use it. But Anna, I didn't use it because we don't know it yet. So, from now on, you can use this rule. If you have one line parallel to other and one line parallel to the same other one, then these two are parallel together, okay? So here, as you can see, D1 is parallel to D given, and D2 is also parallel to D given. Then we can say that D1 and D2 are also parallel to each other. So these three lines are actually parallel together. This is a rule that we can use it. Please, Manessa, read for us the rule, the main point.
Okay. Two lines that are parallel to a third line are parallel. If D1 parallel to D and D2 parallel to D, then D1 parallel to D2.
Excellent. So this is what we were talking about. Is it clear, everyone, what we did and the main point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to
Yes.
repeat from now on. I won't have time to let you just copy. If you didn't finish, you have each time to copy from the record.
main point, we study it.
I know. I'm just explaining it. طيب. We're going to go, everyone, to the, let me tell you where. We're going to open our math book on the page 62, the activity H. We're going to remember together the quadrilaterals. So 62, everyone. Let me just page 62, activity H. Okay. Let me just open it.
Miss, can I read, please?
Okay, 1 minute. We're gonna just let me open. Okay. Yep.
Miss, may I read?
Sana, wait a second, okay? Because we're not gonna start reading for now. Just we're gonna remember together and then we're gonna read. So as you can see here, you already took the quadrilaterals last year in grade 5. Now we're just gonna remember them. Who
Yes.
can just remind me, what does the word quadrilaterals mean? Who can remind me about that? Who else? Only Noor and Ali, Zahra, Batul, Hassan. Okay, who else? Julia?
Sorry, I didn't
Is it Jad? It's not Julia.
Miss,
Jad,
it's
Can you
me. It's
repeat
me.
the question? I didn't hear you.
I'm gonna repeat the question. What does the word quadrilaterals mean? Jad Sawan, unmute
Yes,
yourself.
Miss.
Can you change your
Yeah.
name?
Miss, I forgot. I don't know how because when I joined the meeting, they didn't tell me to change my name. And
okay.
because I'm using a laptop, not a phone.
Okay, Jat. Yeah, can you remind me about what does the quadrilaterals mean?
Quadrilaterals mean shapes like a square, rectangle, rhombus, and parallelogram.
Parallelogram. Okay, but those shapes, what is the characteristics of those shapes? Why do we call them quadrilaterals?
Because they're parallel, no, they're perpendicular.
No. The word quadrilaterals is coming from which
They
word?
form a right angle.
Quadro. Okay, they have right angle, but what do they have?
4 right angles.
4 right angles and 4 what? Not necessarily they have a right angle, okay? But 4 angles, no need to be right, and 4
equal sides.
Yeah, 4 equal sides.
sides.
4 equal sides.
Excellent. No need for me to be all. Wait a second, you are talking together. No need to be 4 equal sides. It means they should only have 4 sides and 4 angles. Later on, we're going to talk about if they are equal or they are 90 degree or whatever. So the word quadrilateral, the word quadro, it's actually coming from 4. Okay, 4 means quattro. Okay, that's why it's called quadrilaterals, because they have always only 4 angles and 4 sides. So the triangle, which has a 3 and a 3, we don't call it quadrilateral, okay? Because it has only 3 angles, 3 sides. But rectangle, it has 4 angles, 4 sides. We can consider it as a quadrilateral, okay? So now we're going to remember together the characteristic of these 4 quadrilaterals, which are the square, the rectangle, the rhombus, and the parallelogram. I'm going to start with Sana. Can you read for us the parallelogram and tell us about its characteristics? Only Sana, and please mute yourself.
Yes, parallelogram. It has the opposite sides are parallel and the opposite sides are equal.
Okay, so those are the characteristic of the parallelogram. Does it have a 90-degree angle?
No.
No. So the parallelogram, as you can see here, those angles that it has, it are not actually 90 degree. لو كانوا 90 degree, it would be a rectangle, okay? So it's actually a parallelogram. It has the sides, the opposite sides, the sides that are facing each other are actually equal and are parallel. So here, as you can see, if I want to name it A, B, C, D, A, B, and C, D are actually parallel and equal, and AC and BD are actually equal and parallel. Those are only the characteristic of the parallelogram. Isam Awarki, can you read the rhombus? What's the characteristic of a rhombus?
A rhombus. The opposite sides are parallel. The close sides are equal.
So here, thank you, Isam. Here, the difference between the rhombus and the parallelogram, also the opposite side are parallel, but they are not only equal, only the opposite one of them. No, all of them are equal. As you can see in the parallelogram, not all of them are equal. Only the opposite sides are equal. But in the rhombus, all of them are equal together and they are parallel. The opposite one are parallel to each other. Can I find any 90 degree in the rhombus, ya Isam?
No, we
No.
can't find it.
Also in the rhombus, we don't have 90-degree angle, okay? So actually the rhombus, it's looking like the square because all its sides are equal and parallel, the opposite one. But the difference between the rhombus and the square is that it doesn't have any 90 degree. The parallelogram look like the rectangle because only the ones that are opposite to each other are equal and parallel. But it doesn't have 90 degree. هلا we're gonna go to the rectangle. Noor Alao, read for me. Noor Alao, read for me the rectangle. على فكرة, there's many people who are not actually with us. Open your cameras.
Miss?
Yes. Noor, are you here?
Miss, I can't open my camera because the internet is so.
Okay, Noor. Noor Alao, يلا read for us the characteristics of the rectangle.
Yes, the opposite sides are parallel.
The opposite sides are equal. The four angles are right.
Okay, excellent. So did you see it's actually the same characteristic of the parallelogram, the opposite sides parallel, the opposite sides equal, but the third characteristic is that it has all their angle equal to 90 degree. All are right angles. Noor Dahir, the last one, the square.
Okay, the opposite sides are parallel. The four sides are equal. The four angles are right.
Okay, excellent. So مثل ما قلنا the square is just like the rhombus. It has the opposite sides parallel and all the sides are equal, but the angles are right. Okay, it has 90 degree in all its angles. Okay, everyone. So those informations, you know them already from grade 5, but we are remembering them because we're going to use them in the exercise. Since we still have time, I guess we still have 10 minutes. I'm gonna start with you an exercise. I'm gonna tell you where. هلا the exercise should be written on the copybook. So please prepare your copybook. أكيد write your name, the date, math, etc. Just prepare the paper. Write the page. I'm gonna tell you now which page. So the exercise that we're gonna do is page 64. It's actually exercise 3. Page 64, everyone.
In the book?
Yes, in the book, page 63. So prepare your copybook, everyone. We're not going to be able to do the exercises on the math book. We're going to do them on the copybook.
Okay, Miss.
Yeah.
Which exercise?
Page 64, exercise 3. Let me just open it, and then we're going to start doing it. Okay, this is it. Yeah, I'm preparing the page. What's the problem here? 1 minute.
Miss, in the middle, we only write math.
Yes, only math.
Miss, which page on the book?
Page 64 on the math book. Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, so everyone, this is the exercise that we're gonna do, page 66. Sorry, 64, exercise 3. As you can see here, we have this. هلا انتو on your math book, if you want to draw something on the image, so draw it on the image that is on your math book. So if we want to do something on the figure, do it on the math book and write above it, and it's solved on the copybook. So just write here above the exercise 3 on your math book, write solved on the copybook. I'm just gonna put CB, means copybook. Okay, so it's solved on the copybook, but if we want to draw something on the figure, we're gonna draw on the same figure that exists on the math book. Akid, we're not gonna copy the figure. So here, as you can see, the figure that we have, who can give me some given from the figure? Who can give me what do we have as given from the figure? Yani something that we can conclude from the figure as given. Jad, تفضل يا جاد. What is the given from the figure here?
We have a square
Okay, how did you know that it's a square? Henry, they said for you it's a
because
square.
there are four angles.
It may be a rectangle. Why did you say it's a square?
They are equal angles. There are four equal angles.
Okay, but also in the rectangle, we have 4 equal angles which are 90 degrees. Why did you say it's a square? You should have another information to say it's a
They
square.
are 4 equal sides.
Did they say for us it's equal? They didn't say for us in the figure. Any symbol that show us it's equal? No. So it's
No.
not. You can't say it's square. You can't say it's rectangle. It's not an information given by the figure.
Two parallel lines.
Come in. How did you know it's parallel? Did they put any symbol that show you it's parallel? Hala, it looks like they
No,
are
but
parallel.
because we have two lines, that are next to each other,
But
and they
this
put
one, this information that you are saying is just, it's just we can look at it and say they are like that. But from the figure, they should put for you a symbol to consider it's given. They didn't put the symbol of parallel lines. They didn't put two just flash or arrows here to show us they are parallel. So no, you can't say they are parallel. Selena, Selena, can you give me a given from the figure?
Yes, it's a rectangle because the opposite sides are equal.
How did they say for you the measurement? Did they told you that they are equal? هلا بدي تقولي لي because they look like equal. Nothing is called looking like. No. They should write for you the measure like said. يعني يمكن كانوا حطوا لك 4 centimeter 4 centimeter. Okay, then you can say they are equal. They didn't say so. Yes, Luna. Can you give me something given from the figure?
Yes.
What?
Perpendicular lines.
Bravo. They gave us some symbol to show us that they are perpendicular. Which two lines they gave you as perpendicular here from the line?
Line GD and FE.
GD and FE are perpendicular to which line?
To line D1.
To D1, bravo. Because they put for
Miss?
you like this, a 90-degree here. So D1 is actually perpendicular to FE and GD. And what else perpendicular
Miss?
also? Yeah, Jad.
Miss Zainab, but they have the perpendicular, but they put also the parallel lines.
But they didn't put for you a symbol. Jad, هلا هن they draw the lines. Did they put
No,
any
they put
symbol
a
that show
symbol.
you?
Miss, they put a symbol.
No, this is the symbol for the
question.
parallel. It should be like this to tell you that they are parallel. They didn't put for you this symbol. They just put it like this. You are talking about this one in the exercise down?
Yeah.
No, they are saying justify. You have to justify they are parallel. They didn't give it to you as an information. Okay, but from the figure, they didn't put the symbol that show us they are parallel. So it's not given. But they put for us this 90-degree, which show us that D1 is perpendicular to FE and it's perpendicular to GD also. And here they put for us the 90-degree also, that D2 is perpendicular to EF and D2 is perpendicular to GD. Those are only the given from the figure. Whole symbol that show me this information and nothing else. Yeah, let's go to the part 1 to see what we need to do. Yes.
But here they are parallel because they are like this.
Did you see you said like this? You mean they look like they are parallel, but when it's given, it should be an information that they give us to us. ما في شيء اسمه they look like, okay? They should give us a symbol to show us that they are parallel. You have to justify they are parallel now, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. هلا we still have there's someone who's talking. There's someone who's talking without permission. Who's that? I can't see you. What's your question? Who is this? مين؟ طيب. Let me start with the first one. Do the coded information on the above figure help you to say that FE is parallel to GD? هلا هنا they are asking, can you say that FE is parallel to GD? You have to justify. FE, is it parallel to GD? How can I now justify that they are parallel? How can I say they are parallel? Yeah. Perla Siblani, how can you say from the properties that we know already, from the given, from the figure, how can you say that FE and GD are parallel? Who's saying, Ms. Zaina?
Because they are perpendicular to a same line.
Excellent, yeah, Perla. Yalla, we're going to talk about this. Manessa, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, you will send the answers on Google Classroom.
Always, I will post the Zoom record. Yes. Okay.
Miss, can you repeat the output you said? I didn't listen.
مين عم يحكي؟ مين who's that? Selena?
Me,
What do you want me
yes,
to repeat?
because
We didn't say anything
what
yet.
did you say?
We are just solving part A now. So I was asking, how can we say that FE parallel to GD? Perla was saying, Perla or Lamar was talking with me.
Me, Perla.
Okay, Perla was saying that we can say that they are parallel since they are perpendicular to the same line. To the which line they are perpendicular?
D1.
They are perpendicular to the line D1. Excellent. How did you know that they are perpendicular to D1?
Because they have a right angle.
Bravo. So because it's given from the figure, 90° here and 90° here, it means that GD and FE are perpendicular to the same line D1. So since they are perpendicular to the same line, then we can say that they are parallel. I guess I don't have time to write. We're going to write in the second session tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to post anyway
In the
this.
copy exercise 3, page 64.
Akid, you're gonna write the page, you're gonna write the exercise, you're gonna write your name, and so on. Anyway, I don't have any other minutes, so we're gonna start actually this exercise tomorrow.